the things that we've done to create a legacy is we have invested a lot of money in our little hometown, because when Richard lived there and I lived in the country near that town, it was thriving. 2 grocery stores, 2 automobile dealerships, 40 businesses, a women's study club who sent me to Girls State, which was kind of a turning point in my life. It was vibrant and alive, and a lot of immigrants lived there, and they had such pride of ownership. It was a wonderful, wonderful place. And we've watched it through the years, because the children of the immigrants chose the big cities. They didn't come back to our little town. And we watched it literally die. And one day we drove in town, and I said to Richard, if we were rich like Warren Buffett, I would buy the whole downtown if I could, build new buildings, and then I would put in a new street that goes out to Highway 81. I would put hanging baskets, have a water system to water them, and I created a vision. He looked at me and he said, who's gonna come to Waukomis? And he kind of laughed at me. Years later, 40 years, 50 years later, he came home one night and he said, I have a chance to buy a block, almost a block in Waukomis. And I think because the buildings are dangerous, they're old and they're crumbling, I think I'll just tear them down and plant grass and just have a nice grassy area. Then he came home a few weeks later and brought me a picture that he had drawn of what he thought he might want to build there. And I said, why are you going to build that? Who's going to come to Waukomis? So he ended up building that street, and I'm now working 1 or 2 times a month with all the little businesses, the cafe, which is called Moe's Place, and the gift shop, which is called the Painted Buffalo, and then the barber shop, which is called Shorty's, and it's in the same location that Shorty's was located when we lived there. And inside there's a picture of my dad getting his hair cut with the real Shorty Underwood. And then he made the end of the block a memorial to the early day settlers of the area. He also added a chapel, and then he built this beautiful little flower garden with a pergola, and then he built 4 apartments. Mm-hmm. Just recently, he purchased our old drugstore where we all hung out because it was not safe. And he's going to do some building across the street. And it's just been the most rewarding and exciting thing of all to see life come back into that town. We give the high school students, seniors, scholarships each year. And we built a family retreat up there that is beautiful and lovely, and we've turned it into a B&B. And so our little town is starting to get pretty, and it's starting to be busy. You drive into town when the restaurants open and cars are parked all over the place. We have a series of events called Waukomis Welcomes. The first one was Waukomis Welcomes Christmas. The second one was Waukomis Welcomes First Responders, and they came from all of the surrounding towns and villages around us. There were several hundred people there. And then we just last Saturday did Waukomis Welcomes Easter. And we've got a whole bunch more of those for the rest of the year. So it brings us great joy to know that when we're gone, hopefully those little businesses will continue. And we have people saying they want to move there, but there aren't any houses for sale. So we have a land planner right now planning a piece of land that we own. And I don't know if we'll be able to build some housing, but if we had 500 more in population, or even 250, it would really enhance the businesses of that little town. And it's been a really rewarding project, not monetarily yet, but just rewarding in knowing that we're leaving a legacy that's positive and wonderful.
Yeah.
Because we're 85 almost. Wow.